Breaking news that just shook the WNBA world to its absolute core. Caitlyn Clark has done it again. The face of modern basketball, the phenomenon who rewrote what it means to be a female athlete, is leaving the court and stepping straight into history. But this time, it's not walking into an arena under bright lights and hardwood floors. She's stepping onto the green, the fairways of golf's most elite stage, the LPGA ProAm in Florida. And here's the part that sent shockwaves across both leagues. Caitlyn Clark isn't walking alone. She's taking her Indiana Fever sisters, Sophie Cunningham and Lexie Hull, right alongside her, not as basketball players, but as golf caddies and teammates in one of the most glamorous sports crossovers the world has ever seen. The WNBA isn't just watching this happen, it's panicking. Fans are calling it the biggest crossover in sports history. Players are whispering that it might be the end of the WNBA's biggest chapter. And executives inside the league office, they're reportedly in full crisis mode. Because Caitlyn Clark just did what no one else dared to do. She crossed lines, she broke the unspoken rules, and she made an entire league question whether they ever really valued their brightest star. When the first headlines hit, Caitlyn Clark joins LPGA ProAm with Fever teammates Sophie Cunningham and Lexie Hull. It didn't sound real. Social media exploded within seconds. ESPN, Fox, and every sports outlet on the planet went into overdrive. Fans flooded comment sections, hashtags like #Caitlyn Clark and #WNBA in shock trended for hours. And in the middle of it all, there she was, CaitlynClark.com, smiling, ready to swing. People said this was just a side event, just a golf cameo. But those who followed Caitlyn know better. This wasn't just a game, it was a statement. Because behind that swing was a silent message to every critic. Every player who cheap-shotted her, every referee who ignored the fouls, and every executive who underestimated her. I don't need your approval. I just need my peace. It all started with a phone call. A call from the LPGA itself. An official invitation to Caitlyn Clark to join one of the most prestigious golf events in the world, the WNBA ProAm. The same event that's seen legends walk its greens, from Tiger Woods to Annika Skrinstam. But this year, the LPGA wanted something different. They wanted energy. They wanted star power. And there was only one name that could deliver both. When Caitlyn got that call, she didn't hesitate. She picked up the phone, called Sophie Cunningham, called Lexie Hull, and said, let's show them what real respect looks like. Because while the WNBA gave her bruises, hate, and endless criticism, golf gave her something different. An open door. An invitation not just to play, but to be celebrated. Not as controversy, not as drama, but as greatness. And that's when things exploded. LPGA icons like Nelly, Korda, and Annika Skrinstam welcomed her with open arms. Tiger Woods himself reportedly sent her a message of support. This girl has something special, he said. She brings eyes to the game. That single quote alone went viral. Within minutes, Caitlyn's crossover wasn't just a sports story. It was a movement. The LPGA saw a surge in viewership interest. Ticket pre-sales skyrocketed. And sponsors began flooding in with multi-million-dollar offers. The WNBA, meanwhile, saw the opposite, declining ratings. Frustrated fans and a league office scrambling to respond. Reports surfaced that WNBA Commissioner Cathy Engelbert called an emergency meeting with team owners demanding answers. According to insiders, she even tried to legally pressure Caitlyn Clark to reconsider the event, warning that her LPGA appearance could violate existing media and sponsorship contracts. But Caitlyn didn't back down. She smiled and said the line that's now echoing across sports media. You can't stop me from shining. And that was it. The moment that officially broke the internet. That smile became the symbol of rebellion, of freedom, of what every athlete dreams of, being appreciated. Because in the WNBA, Caitlyn Clark has been targeted, fouled, mocked, and blamed for everything wrong with the game. But in golf, she was embraced, celebrated, and protected. LPGA fans lined up to watch her swing. Nelly Korda stood beside her, laughing, practicing drives. The cameras rolled as Caitlyn took her first swing. Smooth, powerful, perfect, and that one clip instantly went viral across the globe. SportsCenter replayed it. ESPN replayed it. Even LeBron James shared it on his story, writing Caitlyn's in her own league now. That one post shattered the silence that had been building all season, because LeBron wasn't just celebrating her golf debut. He was acknowledging what millions already felt. Caitlyn Clark had outgrown the WNBA. Meanwhile, Sophie Cunningham and Lexie, her fever teammates, were right by her side, wearing LPGA caddy uniforms, laughing, cheering, and reminding the world what real friendship in sports looks like. These weren't just teammates. These were sisters standing together, not just on the court, but across sports. And for the LPGA, this was marketing gold. The event that was originally not even scheduled for TV coverage suddenly became the most talked about. Sports broadcast of the month. Fans started emailing the LPGA, begging for live streams, asking how they could watch Caitlyn Clark in action. Within 24 hours, the LPGA's media team reversed its decision. The WNBA ProAm would now be televised live globally. And you already know what happened next. Record-breaking viewership. Twitter exploded. Reddit lit up. People who had never watched golf before were suddenly experts, breaking down Caitlyn's swing mechanics, her focus, her stance. And all of it, all that love, attention, and respect came from the one place the WNBA failed to provide. And that's the part that hit hardest. Because while the LPGA rolled out red carpets, private jets, and media exposure for Caitlyn Clark, the WNBA gave her silence, jealousy, and politics. She was booed by rival fan bases, mocked by players, ignored by referees, and even disrespected by her own league executives at times. Yet on that golf course, she was treated like the superstar she truly is. The contrast was too big to ignore. Sports analysts started calling it the Great Divide. One sport losing its star, another embracing her with open arms. Fans couldn't help but notice the difference. One tweeted, "The LPGA did in 1 week what the WNBA failed to do in a whole season. They celebrated Caitlyn Clark." That post alone reached millions. Because it wasn't hate, it was truth. As the day of the tournament approached, more leaks began circulating. Photos of Caitlyn Clark and Nelly Korda practicing together. Videos of Sophie Cunningham joking around with LPGA staff. Images of Lexie helping Caitlyn with her golf bag. And in the middle of it all, Caitlyn, focused, confident, glowing. For once, there was no drama, no tension, just respect. And that's when the quote that would define this crossover surfaced. During a brief media moment, a reporter asked her, "Caitlyn, why golf?" And her answer silenced everyone because golf gave me what basketball took away. Peace and respect. Those words hit harder than any three-pointer she's ever made. That clip spread faster than wildfire. Within hours, sports pages across the world shared it. ESPN replayed it. Fans posted it with captions like, "She said what needed to be said." The WNBA offices were silent that day. Insiders said the panic was real. Kathy Engelbert reportedly held an emergency conference call with team executives, warning that if Caitlyn Clark's golf crossover became a trend, if other players started following her path, the league could face a financial and media crisis. Because here's the truth. WNBA ratings were already down by 27% that quarter. Sponsorships were reportedly on hold. And as one ESPN insider put it, if Caitlyn doesn't return for the 2026 season, the WNBA might not survive the year. That's not just speculation, that's fear. Pure, undeniable fear. Because one player's light was now exposing a whole league's darkness. And yet for Caitlyn Clark, this wasn't about revenge, it was about peace. She wasn't chasing money, headlines, or controversy. She was chasing something far rarer: freedom. Freedom to play without being hated. Freedom to shine without being criticized. Freedom to be loved for her talent, not attacked for her success. And that's exactly what golf gave her. Private jet arrivals, red carpet treatment. Photographers cheering instead of booing. Fans holding signs that said, "Caitlyn, You inspire us. Even the LPGA's presenting sponsor, Gainbridge, released a public statement saying they were honored to have Caitlyn. Sophie and Lexie joined the event, calling it a historic moment for women's sports. The contrast couldn't have been more dramatic. One league losing its stars, another league gaining icons. So here's the question that's now echoing across every sports talk show. Every social feed, every barbershop conversation. Is this the end of Caitlyn Clark's WNBA era? Or is it the beginning of something much bigger? The rise of an athlete too powerful to be confined by one sport, too influential to be limited by one league. Because after seeing the love, respect, and billion-dollar spotlight the LPGA rolled out, why would she ever go back? The answer might just change women's sports forever. Tell me in the comments, should Caitlyn Clark stay in golf forever? Or give the WNBA one last chance? Hit that like button if you stand with her. Because this story, this moment, just changed everything we thought we knew about sports, fame, and respect. We knew about sports, fame, and respect. And just when everyone thought the shockwave had settled, it happened again. The backlash. The kind that turns whispers into war. Because the moment Caitlyn Clark stepped onto that green grass, the WNBA's quiet tension exploded into a full-blown meltdown. The league that once marketed her as its golden girl suddenly treated her like a traitor. Players whispered behind closed doors. Executives sent emails with legal threats. Commentators who once praised her now questioned her loyalty. But Caitlyn Clark didn't flinch, not once. She stood on that golf course like she owned it, smiling under the Florida sun. While the entire sports world burned with debate, was she abandoning basketball, or was she freeing herself from a system that never gave her the respect she earned? Tell me in the comments, what would you do if the place you built your name in suddenly turned its back on you? Because Caitlyn Clark just answered that question with her actions. She chose peace over politics, respect over restrictions, and for that, the internet crowned her a queen. From the moment the LPGA event began, you could feel the energy shift. Every camera lens pointed toward Caitlyn Clark. Reporters swarmed. Fans screamed her name like it was the Super Bowl, not a golf event. And in the middle of that chaos, something beautiful happened. The world saw her differently. No longer just a basketball star. No longer just a controversial rookie. She became a symbol of power, resilience, and reinvention. The same player who endured elbows, fouls, and constant criticism from jealous peers was now standing on fairways, embraced by fans who didn't just watch, they celebrated her existence. LPGA legend Nelly Korda said it best during a post-round interview. Caitlyn reminds us why people fall in love with sports. It's not about what league you play in, it's about what kind of person you are when you play. That quote echoed everywhere. It was shared by ESPN, Bleacher Report, and even the PGA Tour's official page. And for the first time in months, Caitlyn Clark's name wasn't surrounded by controversy, it was surrounded by admiration. But back in the WNBA offices, admiration turned to alarm. Leaks started pouring out of the commissioner's circle. Kathy Engelbert reportedly called an emergency board session with team owners, trying to downplay the crisis. But insiders said her tone was panic. Sponsors were asking questions. TV partners wanted to know if Caitlyn Clark's golf appearances violated exclusivity clauses. And most damning of all, agents representing multiple WNBA players confirmed that their clients were suddenly asking about golf too. They're not trying to leave basketball, one insider revealed. But they're watching how Caitlyn's being treated, and they want that kind of respect too. That's when the WNBA realized this wasn't just a Caitlyn problem. It was a movement. Meanwhile, on the course, the LPGA couldn't get enough. They rolled out the red carpet, literally. Caitlyn Clark arrived on a private jet sponsored by Gainbridge. Cameras rolling as fans held welcome to golf. Caitlyn. Signs. The LPGA turned the event into a full-on celebration, marketing her appearance like a Super Bowl halftime show. Interviews, photo ops, even special merchandise sold out in minutes. Clark on the green caps, shirts, and limited edition visors. The LPGA's social media accounts tripled in engagement. And guess who they credited? One woman, Caitlyn Clark, "She's not just a guest," LPGA's media director said. "She's a revolution." And that's when the comparisons started flooding the internet. Fans began posting side-by-side graphics. WNBA versus LPGA treatment, sponsorships, media exposure, fan respect, and the difference was staggering. While the WNBA struggled to even televise all its games, the LPGA was pushing Caitlyn Clark's appearance across every platform. While basketball referees ignored fouls against her, golf organizers built entire media schedules around her comfort. And while certain WNBA players complained about her spotlight, LPGA pros thanked her for sharing it. One viral post said it all. The LPGA gave Caitlyn Clark a mic and a smile. The WNBA gave her bruises and silence. Over 2 million likes. Thousands of comments. Fans calling her the face of women's sports, not just basketball. Even non-sports fans joined the wave. Major celebrities started showing love. Serena Williams tweeted, "Every woman deserves to play where she's respected." Caitlyn's doing what legends do, evolve. That tweet broke the internet. Within minutes, the hashtag Caitlyn Clark Evolution started trending globally. TikTok creators made edits. YouTubers posted highlight reels of her swing compared to her step back three. The symbolism was impossible to ignore. Caitlyn Clark's drive off the tee had become a metaphor, a clean, powerful escape from the noise that once tried to drown her. Every swing she took was a reminder that respect is earned, not given. And the best part? She wasn't alone. Sophie Cunningham and Lexie, her Fever sisters turned golf caddies, became instant fan favorites too. Their chemistry on the course was magnetic. Sophie, always the fiery leader, joked with fans, signed autographs, and even gave mini interviews about how proud she was of Caitlyn. "She's fearless," Sophie said. And fearless people change the game no matter what game it is. Lexie, known for her calm poise, called it one of the most inspiring weekends of my life. Photos of all three together, laughing, smiling, celebrating, went viral under the caption, "Sisters in Sports." And for the first time, it wasn't the Indiana Fever making headlines. It was the bond behind the jersey. But inside the WNBA world, bitterness brewed. A handful of rival players took to social media, throwing thinly veiled shade. One posted, "Some of us still grind on the court instead of posing on the grass." Another wrote, "It's easy to smile when you leave the real work behind." Fans didn't hold back. They fired back instantly, calling out the jealousy, the hypocrisy, the inability to celebrate another woman's success. Sports media personalities jumped in too. Stephen A. Smith even weighed in on live TV, saying, "If your league's biggest issue is that its biggest star is finally being celebrated, then maybe the problem isn't the player, it's the league." That line trended for hours. The truth was out. The world saw it, and no amount of PR spin could put it back in the box. By the second day of the LPGA ProAm, Caitlyn Clark had completely stolen the show. Cameras followed her every move. Her swing videos racked up millions of views. Fans lined the fairways chanting CC, 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 CC. It felt more like a championship parade than a charity golf event. Reporters asked if she planned to take golf seriously. And Caitlyn's answer sent another tremor through the sports world. "I don't know where life will take me, but I do know this. I go where I'm respected." Boom. Another headline. Another viral moment. Because it wasn't just about golf or basketball anymore. It was about respect, loyalty, and the freedom to choose happiness over pressure. Behind the scenes, major sponsors started making moves. Sources leaked that multiple golf brands, including Titleist, Callaway, Callaway, and Rolex, were reaching out to Caitlyn's team with interest in partnerships worth over $100 million combined. Meanwhile, her basketball-related deals were reportedly in limbo as WNBA executives debated how to respond. One insider told Sports Business Journal, "If Caitlyn Clark walks away from the WNBA, it's not just a loss, it's an earthquake." Because, let's be real, no one moves numbers like Caitlyn. She doesn't just trend, she transforms. The Caitlyn effect is measurable in ratings, in ticket sales, in social media traffic. every league she touches grows. And golf. Golf just hit the jackpot. But for Caitlyn, the money wasn't the story. The piece was, she told her circle of friends, "I don't care about how big the checks are. I just want to feel respected again." That statement, quietly made, was leaked to a reporter, and it became a headline of its own. Because that's what fans had been saying for months. Caitlyn Clark doesn't crave attention. She commands it through grace. Every fan could feel it. Every critic could see it. You can't teach the kind of magnetism she carries. It's natural. It's earned. And now it was finally being celebrated. By the end of the weekend, the numbers spoke louder than words. The LPGA ProAm broadcast shattered viewership records. The event pulled in nearly triple its expected audience, with 80% of new viewers citing Caitlyn Clark as their reason for tuning in. The LPGA's official YouTube page gained over 500,000 subscribers in 48 hours. Golf merch featuring Caitlyn's name sold out in minutes. And even sports betting markets noticed wagers on women's golf spiked by 300%. The crossover wasn't just symbolic, it was seismic. The Caitlyn Clark effect had just expanded into an entirely new sport. And the WNBA's silence made it look like they'd lost their brightest star for good. So here's the question everyone's asking now. Is this the new normal? Has Caitlyn Clark officially outgrown basketball? Because if one weekend of golf can make the entire WNBA nervous, imagine what would happen if she decided to do this full-time. Imagine her playing pro golf during the offseason, racking up sponsorships, breaking barriers, and making headlines the league could never buy. The possibilities are endless and terrifying for her critics, because Caitlyn Clark has found something bigger than fame. She's found control. And once an athlete finds that, they don't go back. Tell me in the comments, do you think the WNBA deserves her back? Or has Caitlyn Clark finally found her true league? The one that respects her the way she's always deserved. The one that respects her the way she's always deserved. The world stopped again. Cameras flashing, fans screaming, and headlines screaming even louder. Caitlyn Clark just changed sports forever. That was the headline plastered across ESPN, Bleacher Report, The Athletic, and even Forbes. Because by the time the Anaka LPGA ProAm ended, Caitlyn Clark had done the unthinkable. She didn't just play golf, she redefined what a female athlete could be. The WNBA's brightest star had walked into golf's biggest stage and walked out as the face of a new era. It wasn't just a crossover anymore, it was a coronation. And the moment she raised her club after sinking that perfect birdie putt beside Nelly Korda, fans knew this was history in real time. The crowd erupted, chanting her name, holding up homemade signs that read, "Queen of every court." That chant, that energy, that love, it was everything the WNBA had failed to give her. The LPGA treated her like royalty, while the WNBA sat back in stunned silence, realizing too late that they had lost their crown jewel to a greener, kinder world. The aftermath was immediate and electric. Caitlyn Clark's swing wasn't just perfect, it was prophetic. Within hours, clips of her final round had taken over the internet. On TikTok, millions watched in awe as her drive soared across the Florida sky. On X, formerly Twitter, hashtags like #CaitlynClarkTeaTime and #ClarkDominateSGolf climbed to the top of global trends. Even golf purists, once skeptical, were now calling her a natural. One analyst on the Golf Channel said, "You can't coach charisma, and Caitlyn's got enough for both leagues combined." Meanwhile, brands wasted no time. Nike, Wilson, and Under Armour each released congratulatory posts. Titleist hinted at a potential collaboration. Rolex posted a video montage titled "Timing is Everything," featuring Caitlyn's smooth follow-through in slow motion. The message was clear. Golf wasn't just embracing her. It was building around her. But back in the WNBA, the silence was deafening. Insiders described the league office as chaotic and emotional. Sources claimed Commissioner Kathy Engelbert spent over 3 hours in a private meeting with legal advisors, discussing how to navigate what she called a brand crisis. Emails leaked online showed that multiple sponsors were asking pointed questions. What happens to their partnerships if Caitlyn Clark shifts focus away from basketball? Could the league afford to lose her? The uncomfortable answer was no, because for the past 2 seasons, the WNBA's growth, attendance, and viewership all tied back to one name, Caitlyn Clark. Her games broke records. Her jersey sales shattered expectations. Her highlight reels dominated social feeds. Without her, the numbers didn't just drop, they cratered. And the scary part, everyone knew it. Meanwhile, Caitlyn was oblivious to the chaos. She wasn't checking her phone. She wasn't responding to league memos. She was out on the course, laughing with Sophie Cunningham and Lexie, soaking up every ounce of joy the moment offered. After months of criticism, fouls, and league drama, she finally looked free. One reporter described her smile that weekend as the smile of someone who found peace after the storm. And that's exactly what it was. Because for Caitlyn Clark, this wasn't about turning her back on basketball. It was about reclaiming herself. Every cheer, every handshake, every flashbulb reminded her that respect still exists, just